Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Outcast is the name. Let's do this. So first things I want to disclose is new content will be coming to the channel very soon. I will be playing EAFC 24 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 / Warzone, depending on what mood I'm in. So if you're looking forward to that, drop in a comment what games you would like to see me play. If there's any others, that's fine. And don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoy the videos I make on this channel. Anyway, for now, let's get back into this Warframe video. So guys, today we're going to be taking a look at a Warframe that I haven't used a lot at all, which might make this better for newer players because we're kind of in the same boat, so I understand it a little bit. I've been playing for a lot of years, but it's never someone I've been that bothered about. I've not ranked it up, I've not formatted it. It's maxed, as you can see above me, and that is Gara Prime. Now, first let's break down what I use on her and why you definitely shouldn't. So here is exactly what I use on her currently. Like I said, I don't really use Gara all that much, so it is very basic. I'm lucky in the sense that due to being actively playing this game for so long, I have things like Arcane Energize, which I understand newer players aren't going to have, but I'll explain other options you can have. Or most new players, don't worry about arcanes anyway. If you're still completing your star chart, not important. Like literally, you are not going to need Arcane Energize to complete the star chart the first time round. It makes life easier, but it's not necessary. So starting off in the aura mod slot is I use physique, and that's just because it matches the polarity symbol, which gives me extra modding capacity. So that's literally the only reason I use it. Squad gains 20% maximum health, which is still good. It's never a bad thing to have health, but ideally you have much better options in here. Steel charge for the melee damage is probably a lot more beneficial due to her first ability being a pseudo melee weapon. So if you have the polarity and want to change it, then I would go for steel charge over physique. There's probably even better ones than that, but for simplicity, steel charge is not going to do you wrong with Gara. Then I'm using transient fortitude for ability strength, but we lose duration. Now to counteract that, I'm using narrow-minded for the duration. However, I've killed efficiency and range, and I think that's a terrible decision to do. So if you can get a more balanced build, you can use lots of different mods. I believe there's even these, the auger ones, they might do you better if you just want to run a much more efficient build on her. But like I say, I've just gone for the strength to max it out. That's pretty much all I've done, and I was trying to do a specific challenge, which is why I think I put my range so low. That just because it filled the space up, and primed flow for energy max. So again, this is by no means a great build, but it's, I tell you what, I'm going to do a similar build to what I think you guys should be doing, and we'll cut back to that. So guys, this is a more rounded build that I think will do you guys a lot better than whatever that mess was that I was currently using. I was previously using, sorry. So I'm still going to keep prime flow for that energy max, because most new players love to just spam an ability, especially myself included, and having extra energy to use is just a nice ease of life mod. Then I'm running the auger set, well, 3 of the auger set: reach, message and secrets. So that will boost strength, duration and range, which, as you can see, it's given me a more rounded build on my stats, whereas before it was heavy on the strength. but no range, no efficiency. This is a lot more useful for a newer player. I'm using Hunter Adrenaline as the conversion from damage on health to energy. Again, more energy, more abilities, more damage output, and then Prime Continuity to boost the duration even more, as some of her abilities, the longer you can hold them up for, is beneficial in different scenarios. So that's my mods. Then I've changed Energize because no one's gonna have that, but Arcane Blade Charger, I don't even have it maxed. It's gonna be cheap, and that is, if you get a primary weapon kill, you have a 30% chance for a melee damage increase, which again, like I said, her first ability is a pseudo melee weapon, so the melee damage is gonna do you wonders. Like I say, you could change physique to steel charge, get even more melee damage, perfect. Then more augmented, on a kill you get a 0.24% ability strength increase, but it can stack 250 times. This thing can change you from 3 or 4 hitting something to 1 hitting it, and it's just all round a staple arcane that I seem to enjoy using on almost any damage output build. So now let's break down her kit, what it does, and why Gara is to many a very, very good frame. One more breakdown I will give you before we move on to her kit, how to use her, what she does, is her first weapon is a pseudo melee. Her first ability, sorry, is a pseudo melee. So it's not actually moddable as its own item like certain weapons are in this game. It's not like the Dex Pixie is for Titania. It doesn't exist until you're in a mission. So the way you mod it and the way you increase its damage is by using a stat stick. So a stat stick is, you just mod, for simple terms, you just mod a melee weapon, and that will effectively mod and increase the pseudo melee weapon. So for me, I'm just using an Arcana Prime with fully stacked out to do viral damage, Berserker Fury for the attack speed, Gladiator Might for crit damage, Blood Rush for crit chance, True Steel for crit chance, North Wind for cold, Prime Fever Strike for toxin, can just use Fever Strike, Condition Overload for the damage increase per status type, and Spoiled Strike for melee damage. So again, this can be any melee you want, any mods you want. If you've got a favorite, just use that, and those mods will effectively mod the pseudo melee. Now I've explained that, now we'll get into her kit and why she's such a good frame. So guys, Gara's first ability is called Shattered Lash. Now you essentially use a whip and lash out at the enemy. If you tap it, it will puncture, doing 992 puncture damage. That is not gonna deal any status effect, that is just direct puncture damage on impact. And if you hold down your first ability, it will do slash damage to any enemies within 13 meters, and that is also 992, but that does slash damage. Again, not proccing bleeds, not proccing slash, it is purely instance damage, so it will do 1 slash attack at that damage. As you can see in the footage, at some points this slash is hitting over 60,000-70,000 damage, and that is with a very, very basic build. I'm sure you guys can do much better. Gara's second ability is called Splinter Storm. Gara's armor splinters into basically a coating of shattered glass that float around her. Any allies that contact you will also be fortified by this floating glass, and shielded from damage, and any enemies you walk near will take damage from it. So with my build, it has a range of 39 meters and a radius of 3.25 meters. It does 310 damage per second if you are near an enemy. It lasts for just under 40 seconds. If you are covered in the glass, you have an 86% damage reduction, and it gives you a 1.43 times damage multiplier. Again, very simple. It's like a coat of armor. It works very similar to things we see on Warframes such as Ember. Essentially, her perk is glass. Then her third ability is Spectro Rage. Now essentially you cast down a wall of mirrors that will just rotate in a clockwise manner, and enemies will be drawn into the middle. Any enemies that are drawn in and distracted will start fighting and shooting the mirrors. If they break a mirror, it will do damage to the enemy. And this has a duration of just under 40 seconds. With my build, you have 16 mirrors, more enemies that can be contained and damaged. It does 992 impact, puncture or slash damage, and it has 1860 area damage for if the whole thing collapses. So if you recast, or if you break it, or if the enemies completely diminish all the shields, all the mirrors, it will do an area damage of the 1860. Now her final piece of kit, her fourth ability, is called Mass Vitrify. Now essentially you create a wall of glass. Now this will expand for as long as you hold it until it reaches its max, which on my build it has a max radius of 23.5 meters, but you can stop it by recasting at any point. So if you're in a small room and you don't need to wait 20 minutes for it to get its max size, you can just recast, cancel it where it is, and it will freeze up and become a solid wall. This has a health on my build of 3224, so until that damage is met, enemies will not be able to breach it. It also gives you a damage multiplier of 1.62 times. The effects of Mass Vitrify last 28.64 seconds, and if you use Shattered Lash while inside, it will explode, and the explosion will damage anything within 19.5 meters and do 992 impact, puncture or slash damage. So essentially how you want to play Gara is very simple. If you're a newer player, what I tend to do a lot is just run around, hold in one and sweep him with slash, and it's not very effective. It's very easy, and it's what a lot of new players will do. They'll just cast all the others randomly and run around slashing. However, what you actually want to do is you want to use Spectra Rage if you're in a very populated enemy area. You want to use your Mass Vitrify on any objectives like defenses or escort, anything where you need to protect an area, Mass Vitrify. And then what you want to do is use your Shattered Lash to explode the Mass Vitrify, and that will give you a damage increase for almost 30 seconds. And Splinter Storm, so if you go to the outside of your Mass Vitrify ring and break it, that will give you more Splinter Storm shards. So the more you have on you, obviously, the longer you're gonna have protection, the more damage you can output. Essentially, that is all of her kit, how to use her and why. I hope you enjoyed. If you want an in-depth breakdown, let me know in the comments, and of course drop any further Warframes you'd like me to do. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, comment and subscribe if you're new. Peace.